Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Ng, and welcome back to the Catching Up podcast. Podcast where conversations don't end when the bell rings. Today, I'm reconnecting with Caden Redmond, who's now participating in college football and trying to play professional football and pursue some of his dreams and goals. He said he's doing an internship right now for the Orlando Pirates, professional indoor football team in Orlando. He's been working on social media. He's got some brand deals going on. I've seen some of his posts myself, so he's working that grind. He's trying to work that influencer lifestyle a little bit. So it's been pretty cool to see that from my side. And he shared with us in his form that since graduation from high school, and college, he's been able to go through winning a national championship at the NAI level at Kaiser University. Caden, welcome. What's NAI for those of us who haven't heard of that before?
I probably misspelled that because of Google spell check, but it's the NAIA. It's so you know how there's the NCAA and they have Division One,
Mm-hmm.
Division Two, Division Three. So the
Mm-hmm.
NAIA is its own governing body of college sports. It's mostly small schools, but the schools can range from anywhere between I know Kaiser University had about 20,000 students across all their campuses to
Mm-hmm.
some schools having up to 100. So if they have two divisions, Division One, Division Two, it's mostly comparable to the Division Two NCAA level because there is scholarships.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so it's pretty much most comparable to NCAA Division Two. It's pretty much the Wild West. We can play whoever we want. We can
Yeah.
play. We have to play our conference, but we can play Division One schools all the way to Division Three. When I was at Kaiser, we did play Division One schools and Division Two schools. So yeah,
Okay. So wow, quite a range in opponents and level of play. Is it
yeah.
still 12 games?
So usually yeah. Now it's about 10 to 12 games. You get a choice.
Okay.
The way it works is you get a certain amount of conference games, and the conference itself will pick who you play that year, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that you get to choose. So they call it it's like a pay me game. So because we're
Mm-hmm.
smaller schools, big schools like UCF or Lindenwood, schools that have Division One money, will pay smaller schools to come play them. I don't know if
Oh,
when you were
okay.
at UCF, you ever went to a game, you were like, who are they
Yeah,
playing?
yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard, yeah, I've seen that circumstance where it's typically like smaller schools coming in, and those
yeah,
schools get paid pretty good money
right.
to come in.
So like they'll pay us like $100,000, and then
Mhm.
out of that we have to cover our travel and food and everything, and the rest we get to keep, win or lose.
Okay. I mean, and also, I mean, it's experience.
Yeah,
It's
it's
experience on
awesome.
the football field. You did also share that you experienced some setbacks. You tore your ACL, had to take a year off and go through the process of recovery. And I'm
Yes,
so eager
sir.
to learn more about how that went with you. But while we're at the beginning, how you been? How's life been recently?
I've been good, man. I went to Kaiser, and then I ended up transferring to a school called Judson University.
Judson,
But
okay.
other than that, life's been good. Injuries come with football. It's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I understood
Mm-hmm.
that. And what's funny about the injury actually is you caught it before I did. I don't know if you remember, but when I was in high school, I suffered a knee injury my senior year, and I
Yeah,
came in and I
yeah, yeah.
asked you. I was like, "Hey, so they said I just sprained it. How long should it take?" You said, maybe 6 months. I mean, it seems like you might have tore something though." And
Mm-hmm.
I was so anti getting an MRI. I didn't want to sit
Sure,
out
sure.
because I had college football right around the corner, and I don't want to lose my scholarship. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that was a funny thing that I thought of as soon as I
Oh
found out that
man.
I tore it. But other than that, life's been good.
Do you know if that high school injury might have been like a partial tear and then
It
just got
was,
aggravated later? Oh, okay.
yeah. So they told me when I tore it eventually, I tore it 6 months ago, and I just got cleared 3 days ago to get back to college football.
Okay,
So
that's exciting.
yeah, very exciting. But when I got the MRI, they said that it was a full tear, and then I had double meniscus tear, so both sides were torn.
Oh
And then they
man,
said I had a
yeah.
partial fracture of, I think, my femur, like that
Hmm.
little from they said bone on bone after I tore my meniscus. There was like a partial like little fracture.
Yeah.
But they said when my doctor told me when he went in, he could tell that there was a partial tear in there on my ACL, and I
Mhm.
instantly knew what it was. It was from
Yeah.
high school when I
Yeah.
partially tore it and kept playing.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal. And I mean, like you said, these injuries happen a lot in the sport, and it's part of the sport. But I think it's also a major part of the sport is what your recovery looks like and what the next chapter looks like.
100%.
There's been countless cases of athletes having serious injuries and recover and still turn out to be exceptional. So for the people listening at home, how do we know each other?
So Mr. NG was my anatomy and physiology teacher. I took anatomy phys 1 and anatomy phys 2, and
Hmm.
his class was my, I want to say, junior and senior year. It was my second semester junior and my first semester senior year, because our you were my wolf dad when
That's
I was in
right.
high school.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I kept seeing you for football to get you hook you up with some food.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
got me a Cuban sandwich before every game.
That's right. That's right.
With
That's right. Man, I have such fond memories of you and Andy and man, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her
Andy
name.
and Landry are getting married, man.
Landry. That's right. I heard that they got engaged, which is such an incredible achievement for them, and I'm so happy for them. But your class, so it was very interesting because if you remember when I started teaching you guys, we were in my old classroom, and
Okay.
then we switched into my new, like, larger classroom that I'm currently in. Your class was the last class that had the couch.
R.I.P. the couch.
I know, I know.
I actually I was listening to your episode with Carter, and when
Oh
you brought
yeah.
that up, yeah, when you brought that up, I said, "Oh, it's gone."
Yeah, yeah. It was a bit of a mess, unfortunately. Like I had gone through all the proper channels to make sure I could use it and that it was safe for the classroom as far as the materials and it wouldn't ignite or anything for fire.
Hmm.
But it was some stuff behind the scenes that unfortunately
Okay.
caused it to get out of the room. But
Timber Creek is
I
changing.
have such I know, but I have such fond memories of that, and um, y'all. There's some classes that stand out more than others in my
Okay.
decade that I've been doing this, and I think your class definitely was one of them. Just because, as I was talking with Carter too, I know sometimes people think that when students are chatty and whatever, they're like a quote unquote class clown.
Yeah.
But to me, there's a world of difference between engaging and chatting and conversation versus being disrespectful and disruptive. Um,
That's what
and
made
I
our
never
class fun.
experienced that with you guys. It was just you guys would have fun with me and chat with me and we talk, but it never felt like when I needed to talk and when I needed to instruct that you guys were trying to be disruptive. So um, yeah, I always like that. I much prefer that over the alternative of a class that's just dead silent. So that's been pretty cool to think back and look back and converse with people that I taught, quite some time ago now. While we're here, we could go ahead and start with one of our signature segments that I like to ask. So
Okay.
I relayed this to you earlier, so hopefully we were able to think of something. But something I like to ask all my guests at the start of the episode is, what's something you learned today? So I can start us off if you want me to, or you can go first.
Yeah, I could start with something I learned today. So
Okay.
in college, I'm studying exercise science or kinesiology. Um, Others call it kinesiology. It's just based on the school, but it's basically the study of movement and how to get bigger, faster, stronger, the most effective way.
Yep.
And I'm not in school right now because of my injury,
Hmm.
but I like to stay in in the world of exercise science.
Yeah.
So I was able to work out my upper body, and I was researching better ways to get your pull ups better, get more
Mm.
explosive off that pull. Because in football, a lot of times, like, I play running back, so I'm not really pushing and pulling people. I'm more running the ball, trying to get away.
Right. Right.
But if my quarterback throws an interception, or if I'm on special teams, I got to throw a guy out of my way, and that's 100% my back. So I was thinking,
Mm.
how can I get my pull ups better so I can get more explosive off that pull? And I learned a lot about eccentric pull ups. So
Eccentric. Okay.
yeah. So when you're working out, there's the eccentric and the concentric. The concentric would be like doing a regular pull up, pulling yourself up, and the eccentric would be coming down. I learned that. I learned this workout. I forgot what his name was, but it was through this guy, this real big guy in the exercise science space, and he was explaining that if you can get on top of a bench and actually get yourself in the position where you're already finishing the pull up with your chin above and everything, and slowly go down, that works more of your back and your shoulder muscles that you actually use when you're doing the
Mm.
pull up for longer versus the quick explosive pull.
Right,
And I did
right.
that I did like 3 sets of 5, and it really showed the difference. So I'm going to be putting that into a lot of my other workouts, because you don't think about like the actual coming down. You're more of
A
just like
hundred
reaching up
percent.
there or anything like that.
There's so many exercises that are like that where the flashy exercises, you see like a lot of big weight, or you see like these quick, powerful instances of force. And, that is a feat in and of itself. But when you slow it down like that and you really isolate those muscles like you're talking about, man, it really showcases like, wow, there's so many muscles here that I wasn't even activating or using as effectively. And
100%.
you see the results. You see the results. So that's really cool that you were able to experience that and try to incorporate that into your workout
Oh,
routines.
it's in my regimen now for sure.
Oh, okay, okay. The thing I learned recently, so I actually just recently started playing kickball in an
Oh,
organized league, and I haven't played kickball since elementary school.
same.
I when I played it in elementary, we played like indoor, like in the gym. So I had no knowledge of like the rules or anything. I knew it was like baseball and softball, but with a giant kickball.
Hmm.
But I didn't really know all the details. So I had to kind of take a refresher before my game on Saturday. And I didn't know this. So a lot of rules are similar: pop flies, tag outs, all that stuff, or tag ups. I didn't know this, but in kickball, if a ball is kicked and let's say you're the shortstop and you catch, you get the ball, if you throw back to the pitcher, unlike in baseball or softball, that eliminates any runners from continuing to advance.
Oh,
So a big strategy of the sport is throw back to pitcher as soon as possible, especially if you know you're not going to be able to reach first, second, third baseman to tag out, just so that you prevent the runners from continuing to run. So it's kind of an interesting like defensive strategy versus how in baseball, if you have the speed and no one's there to tag you, you can keep going, right?
right.
But in kickball, it's a little more like strategy based. And I also realized the hard way yesterday. I
Uh-oh.
forgot how heavy a kickball is. Um, one of my first plays, I was playing in center field, and a ball comes my direction. I field it pretty well. I see a runner running to second. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to throw to second and tag out. And as I released the ball, is when I realized, oh, I did not prepare my body to actually like generate force enough, and it just kind of plopped out of my hand. And my momentum was also carrying me the other direction. What's fascinating, I learned that apparently if you're an outfielder, to actually get the ball far, the technique is, how shot put in track and field, they'll spin before they throw the
Yeah,
disc
I
or
did that in high
the
school.
stone thing. That's apparently the technique in kickball. That if
Really?
you're an outfielder and you really want to get that ball far, you need to do that spin move. I'm like, oh man, there's levels to this that an elementary school game,
Yeah.
but it's cool. We had a lot of fun. I think I had a pretty good game. I had two
Okay.
hits. I caught an out. I'm like, all
That's all you can ask for. You
right.
did your part.
Exactly. I did my
How does
part.
how does that going throwing it to the pitcher work, if like so if I was on first base and I was
Yep.
in between first and second and you got the
Hmm.
ball to the pitcher, do I have to go back to first?
No. So if let's say you're on first already as the runner,
Yeah.
and then the new kicker comes up, they kick. If the defensive team throws to the pitcher, you still can advance, assuming it wasn't a caught ball like a pop
Right.
fly. You still advance, but let's say there were errors included, and you see your chance, you're like, oh, I'm going to run all the way to third. As long as the ball gets back to the pitcher, you can only advance one base.
Oh,
So you
okay.
still get to move, but the amount you move is more limited, I guess. So it's more of a defensive play versus, hey, we're getting this out right now.
Okay, it doesn't stop someone from getting to that base.
Right. It doesn't stop from the advance, especially if you had a person behind you. Yeah, it's an interesting little strategic difference. I did have a question earlier. You mentioned, I think I remember this from high school that you played running back.
Yeah.
How would you describe your style? Because I like football. I like watching football. I'm familiar that there's north south runners, east west runners, more power backs, more agile and cut better. How would you describe your style?
I'm more of a one cut kind of guy. I
Okay.
don't like doing a whole lot of dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I can dance. I'm not, I have some clips where I can get down, But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I like to describe my play style as like a balanced one cut kind of guy. I like to compare my
Okay.
game to I don't know if you remember the Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very patient in the backfield, but if the hole's open, exploding through it. Because in high school, I didn't get a lot of chances to hold the ball. We had a
Hmm.
our coach back then. He wasn't not the head coach, but the running back coach. I don't want to
Yeah.
throw any shade, but he wasn't the best coach for me at the time. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't really believe in my skill set, so I actually had to take it upon myself to get the ball. And when I had chances to get the ball, I was able to make a little bit of film, and I was able to get invited to the All American game. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. That
Yeah,
was a big
for
deal. Yeah.
Camping World, which they didn't make it a big deal. Actually, I was you and a couple teachers were only people that know they weren't trying to
Right.
emphasize
That's
it that
wild.
much.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
it's okay though. You live and you learn. I'm
Yeah.
doing better. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still doing good. I did. It's better to do it on your own sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to make that All American game, and there was where I actually was able to show like what I could do with the ball because
Right.
I got more touches in that game than I did my entire season at Timber Creek. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's in one game.
in one game, I got
That's
more touches
crazy.
in that game than I did ever. And it turns out one of the coaches that was at Timber Creek my sophomore year, that was like,
Mm,
dang, this kid's gonna be something for us. He wasn't there my senior year, but he was an announcer for
mm.
that game, and he was like, yeah, this Caden Redmond kid, somebody's got to grab him, this, that, and the
Yeah,
other. And
yeah, yeah.
it helped boost my recruiting. That's what actually got me to Kaiser.
That's good. Honestly, I mean, the coach player relationship is such a vital thing as far as evaluating what your talent is and evaluating where that set piece is so like where they're used. And
Yeah,
like you said, it's not necessarily like you're trying to talk trash to a coach. It's just if you don't feel like you're getting used properly, then that hurts the whole team. It's a team sport ultimately, and it hurts you obviously as a player in your progression. But yeah, I wanted to say, when in my experience when I watch football, and especially with running backs, which is such a make or break position where
hmm,
like you can really control the tempo of the sport.
yeah,
I always admire players like yourself that have that vision because I think it's very easy to be a big guy and you could just
yeah.
manhandle
Being
somebody,
a
right?
barrel.
Or yeah, or even be like that agile, like Jameer Gibbs style, like, hey, I'm just gonna outrun you. When you can like have that moment of when everything's going crazy and you got people that are doing everything in their power to take you
Mhm.
down, and you can see, oh wait, right here, it's that chess move.
Yeah,
That
that's
that
my
I think,
exact play style.
yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating when players like that work. It works so well with them,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is truly like another level of the game. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. Let's go ahead and start focusing a little on the main crux, I guess, of the episode, which is how things were back in high school.
Oh,
So
okay.
on your form, you said you graduated in 2022.
Yes, sir.
This is post COVID. Things were obviously a little shaky at that time for sure. When you think back to that time, it could be my class, it can be any time in high school. Is there a moment that really stands out to you?
In high school, I mean, to keep it honest, like a lot of my high school was just sports, and so
Hmm.
like a lot of my big moments that I remember, it wasn't like me specifically sports, but a lot of my moments were like team events in sports. But I
Okay.
would say the biggest moment that I remember from high school was like when you say like biggest or like thing that like I still think about to this day kind of thing.
Both. Yeah, honestly.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I guess I have two. One of them was when I moved to Florida because I was originally from Chicago. I
Hmm.
moved to Florida for my sophomore year all the way through my senior year, and I made varsity that year as a new kid, and it was it was great. I worked hard for it, and it was like a
Hmm.
how do I say? But it was like your hard work coming and showing. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah. So when I that was a moment, but the real big thing was that year. It was I think it was 2020, and it was it 2019? Yes, 2019, my sophomore year.
Hmm.
We made the playoffs, and I wasn't a like a role player at this time. I was on the team. Honestly, I was on the bench. I was just good enough to be on varsity.
Sure.
My
Yeah, yeah.
sophomore year, we had some dogs in front of us. We had running back, we had Flo, D line, we had Jacob, Shamir, we had a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
dogs. So I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get on the field that year, but we played Deland, and at the time Deland had this 5-star safety. This dude was committed to Miami. Came out on the
Wow.
field. Dude had full neck tattoos. Looked like a grown man. Like when I saw him walk on the field, I went, "Dang, I'm glad I'm not playing." But we went just seeing how everyone reacted to that, and then we came out and won that game by 1 point.
Wow.
Yeah, this team that was full of like guys who were like this guy's committed to
D1.
Miami.
Yeah.
This guy's
Yeah.
everyone their whole starting lineup was pretty much going somewhere, and we had guys on that team like Jake ended up going to Gardner Webb. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we had guys on that team like Zoran Skinner, Trey Lubin, Daniel Bello. We had a bunch of guys that went somewhere. Mookie, who's a coach now,
Oh,
all around
nice.
that team. That was a big moment for me because it really showed me like the power of football. Like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Any Given Sunday.
I'm familiar with it, but no, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
watched
just
it.
like any given Sunday, any team can win. Football is
Yeah.
just that kind of sport. It doesn't matter. And then I'd say another one was just making regionals on the weightlifting team with my friends.
Very nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. TC's had a very, very strong weightlifting team for quite
Crawford,
some
man.
time, both boys and girls. And, it's always impressed me, the commitment. And also, it's a lot of cross training, where it's a
Yeah.
lot of athletes that play multiple sports typically. Because, weightlifting is obviously strength building.
Hmm.
And you need to do that in many sports anyway. But the competitive side of that is a little different than just, hey, I'm going to the gym for an hour, hour and a half, right? So that it is fascinating. I have a friend who does competitive weightlifting, and I've gone to a couple of his meets. It is so interesting just how you're on sets for like what 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and you're just there. You're doing your lift. Hey, PR or no, and that's it. And you get a
Hmm.
couple more attempts and stuff, but it's a very quick moment type of thing. It's not like your other sports where you're playing for 2-3 hours or something, and it's a stamina endurance thing. It's very much you got to show right now what you
Yeah,
got.
there's little to no strategy to it. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's impressive. I think it's cool that so many people can find that place that works for them. Especially in my opinion, the girls. Because I think there's a common misconception, and I talk to my students about this, that weightlifting is just to get big. And if that's your goal, that's great. But I think something that, I'm a proponent that everyone should weightlift. It helps to strengthen the muscles, your
100%.
core, your back, everything. But I think a lot of women especially tend to be cautious with it because they're like, oh, I don't want my physique to be all big and bulky. It's like, no, no, no. You don't have to do that if you don't want that.
No, no.
The more you kind of destigmatize it and be like, hey, you can look the way you want to look and get really strong,
Yeah.
then people start to say, hey, okay, I'm actually interested in this. Like,
Yeah.
let me give it a shot.
I remember the year before I graduated, we had a girl named Sydney Lake.
Mm-hmm.
She's a D1 track and field athlete. She throws the hammer, and I
Okay.
think she still does discus. But
Wow.
yeah, she was on the weightlifting team, and she just had like it wasn't like she was like this crazy bulky like she walked around the hallways and you were like, oh no, stay
Yeah,
away from
yeah,
her. No,
yeah.
she had an athletic physique, and she was throwing around weight like it was
Like
nothing,
nothing.
man.
Yeah.
She made a lot of the boys self conscious. It was fun to watch her lift.
Yeah, yeah. It is truly an impressive feat of how the human body works, and so much of it is form. So much of it
Yeah,
is form and how you use those muscles. So it's an incredible thing to partake in. When you think back also to that time in high school, you mentioned a lot of sports, and obviously that's still something that's very deeply connected to who you are. How did you feel about the class and like classes in general? I've heard many times from athletes that the classes is just like, I gotta be here, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But did any classes in particular stand out to you, or you felt like, oh yeah, I enjoy this stuff?
Well, I think you know the answer to that because I texted you like my first year of college.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
your class, both your classes, man. It was your class. Not I say professor because I've been in college for so long.
Hmm.
Mr. Meisner,
Yeah,
and
first aid. Yep.
yeah, and the athletic trainer.
Okay.
All the whole
That's
staff.
Client, right?
I'm
Or
sorry.
not Client, Klein.
Yeah, Klein.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because interned with her in high school, and then I did sports med with Meisner, and then I did anatomy and phys with you guys. Those were my
Yeah.
favorite classes, and that's what led me to go down the path that I'm on now. But I
Hmm.
texted you. Your class was my favorite, man, because as soon as I got to college, I went into anatomy and phys 1 and 2 classes
Yeah.
that I was told like from the start, oh, this is gonna be the hardest class of your entire career path, and I flew by it, man.
That's good.
It was so
That's
easy and
good.
so fun, it's like I had some of my notes from when I was in your class, and it still applied, and I
There you
thought it
go.
was crazy how you were able to fit so much content
Hmm.
that we didn't even realize was college level content into our little non AP. Maybe one of my classes I took with you was honors anatomy
Yeah, yeah.
class,
Hmm.
and I thought it
Yeah,
was amazing.
the course, the content gets incredibly detailed. I certainly don't consider myself to be a master of this subject matter, but I'm happy and I'm thankful that I've been doing this long enough that I feel comfortable explaining it to high schoolers and getting that message across that if you do take stuff further at a collegiate level or anything beyond that, the foundation's there.
Yeah.
And I'm also very lucky that I teach something that ultimately is us. It's our
Mhm.
bodies. And, that's a great transition now to talk about that injury that you experienced.
Okay.
So when you went through your ACL tear, obviously that is a drastic injury and your meniscus tears as well. But I'm sure the knowledge of what's going on with these things helped a little bit with like the recovery process and getting back on your feet. So talk to us a little bit about how recovery was for you and going through physical therapy and training.
Well, I am still in physical therapy.
Hmm.
I just saw my surgeon for the last time on Friday. That's when he cleared me. But all in all, it's a grind, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where like you got to decide if you really want to do this or not, because tearing an ACL, first of all, the pain, it was bad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it wasn't as bad as you would think, but it was bad. It was more of like the initial tear and the radiating pain after.
Oh, was it a
Yeah.
contact injury or non-contact?
It was non-contact, so that's what made it worse.
Non-contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
some people say that's worse, but I feel like it was better that it was non-contact because I didn't have to throw anybody off me or have anybody
Yeah.
step
I
on me or
mean,
anything like that.
when you're in that much agonizing pain and you got a big 300-pound person on you, it's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
get
nah. So when I tore it and then I tried playing still, and I because it's tearing an ACL is crazy because you
it.
can
Hmm.
still run. A lot of people
Oh
don't
yeah.
realize as an athlete, like maybe someone who's not athletic, who doesn't have like the built-in quad strength already,
Hmm.
they might be like, oh, they're done. But a lot of athletes will still run and be able to cut and make moves post like tearing your ACL. But
Hmm.
when your knee eventually like slides over when your femur slides over your fibula and tibia and when you're making a move, that's when the pain hits, and that's
Oh.
when I realized it was torn. That's when I had to get it checked. But overall, the PT, I'd say I've been blessed with great physical therapists and a great surgeon. My
Hmm.
surgeon was Eamon Dauk. Shout out. He's at Sand Lake Surgery Center in
Okay.
South
Nice.
Orlando. I found him. He worked with the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit, so I made sure I got
Wow.
with somebody who was football inclined because I wanted the
Yeah.
best. I wanted to be because I want to get back on the field. And then he recommended me to Orlando Sports Med in Altamont Springs with Sarah. That's my PT. Shout out Sarah.
Okay.
Shout out Bill.
Okay.
They've got me working, man. It's from the start to finish, very very technical and intricate with everything they have me do. And I feel like they've given me the best chance possible to come back from this injury, and it shows. Like just the other day, I was jumping a 30-inch box again. I'm able to jump
Mhm.
off my single leg just 5 months out of surgery. Not recommending people do that because that's how you get hurt.
No, yeah,
But
and
like
everyone's got a different recovery process.
100%,
Yeah.
do your recovery with under under supervision
Hmm.
because I wasn't doing that on my own. I had Sarah watching me, I had Bill watching me, and they've got me on track to be able to play again in August, and I'm very excited and happy that I was able to get with them. But it's a grind, man. It's
Yeah,
100%.
100%. I'm curious. In what I've seen and heard from a lot of athletes that have these injuries is, it's one thing for the physical body to get back in that play shape, but what about the mental side? Because I've seen it before where some people they form a mental block almost because you
Mhm.
don't want to get hurt again, right?
Yeah.
And you've experienced that pain and you've experienced those months of recovery and how your body felt when you were weaker. How did it feel for you from a mental side? Did you feel like there were any barriers there?
Barriers to an extent. So I've blown an appendix, like I've broken my wrist. I've
Mm-hmm.
had injuries. Like I've had sciatica injuries with my nerves. Like I've had a lot of like little tweaks and injuries, and it almost to me is just like I said, part of the game. So
Mm.
I have a lot of mentors who have been in the NFL who have gone further than I am right now, and the biggest thing they've always told me is don't let it get to your head because that's how a lot of guys go out. It's never your knee. It's 100% in your head.
Yeah,
So I've been working through that a lot where if I feel scared to do something, I just do it. Like I just
yeah,
like how Nike says just do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's when I know cuz that's when I know okay, I have to do this cuz the minute I let my brain tell me no is the minute that I'm going to be forced into retirement and I'm not ready.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's mind over matter.
Oh yeah,
There's
big
obviously
time.
limits that the body needs recovery. No doubting that. But it is so much how your mindset is and your willpower that
Yeah.
pushes you into that next level.
One of my friends in college told me, he said, one thing you got to remember, bro, is scared money don't make money. If you're trying to make money at this game, you can't be scared at it. Can't be scared your
Yeah,
knee's gonna pop. Can't be
that's
scared of
true.
none of that. Scared money
That's
don't make
true.
money.
That's 100%. How this tends to work. No doubt about it. Do you feel like the process for like where you're at? You said you're working with the Pirates, the Arena League,
Yeah.
right in Orlando. How's that been going for you so far?
It's great. I really enjoy it. So right now, I'm just an intern, but my title fluctuates. We've pretty
Hmm.
much settled on assistant to the director of operations, but it's still an internship. And I'm treating it like a blessing because I'm making connections with the head coach, making connections with players, people that
Yeah.
could help me further my career on the field and when I'm done playing off the field.
Hmm.
So it's really fun. They just started this year. I got to get you some tickets, man.
Oh,
But
that'd be cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Where do they play?
the Kia Center.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
first
Very
game is
cool.
April 5th, but yeah, it's been fun. I get to see professional football and really understand where I need to be physically to get
Hmm.
to that point. To the extent of like, not all the time did like when you were studying to be a teacher, you had to get hours, you
Yeah.
know? I'm kind of
Yeah.
treating it like my hours where I'm going to these practices, I'm watching the professional running backs. I'm seeing how they move, I'm seeing how they treat their bodies, what they eat, how they
Right.
how they decompress, what they do for recovery, and I'm mimicking it because
Yeah.
like like learning your hours, getting to that point. If I do what they're doing, I'll make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, even if you're not as actively involved in something, just being present,
Yeah,
witnessing this, seeing this, observing, that goes a long way. Obviously,
yeah,
at a certain point, you gotta put the pen to paper. You gotta put the boots to the ground to actively learn even further. But this is step one, like you said.
100%. And then with the internship, I'm just doing front office stuff, so running
Yeah,
events,
yeah,
and then at the games, I'll be the guy that runs around, and I'll be if someone paid for their son to go see one of the players,
mhm.
I take them downstairs. I'll be giving the water to the players,
Okay,
helping
okay.
coordinate the entire event, pretty
So
much.
you're doing a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I'm pretty much running around, but the fun part for me is learning from the athletes, of course.
Okay, nice. And it sounds like not only are you involved in this too, but you also got your social media side stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah,
I've seen some of your videos where you're like going through a life, day in the life of a student athlete and how that is. And I think that's really cool because for people that aren't in this world, oftentimes it's very easy to just be like, okay, man, like you go play football at a school, like how hard can that be? And there's a lot of management of time and everything. And what inspired you to say, let me start recording some of this, let me start putting some of this stuff online?
I don't know if you've heard of Donald Delahaye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The UCF
Yeah,
kicker who,
yeah.
well, I
Okay,
mean, he
that's what I
got
was asking.
screwed, but yeah,
Yeah, he got
yeah.
screwed, but he's a big inspiration of mine when it comes to putting turning on the camera.
Okay.
Destroying I watched his story and right around my senior year of high school was when I really got into like, this video stuff is fun. I used to make videos when I was a kid. And I was like, maybe I should just start recording stuff. So I started recording and it was great timing because right after my senior year, that was when they signed the bill for college athletes to start making money.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was one of the early athletes to start getting paid. So started recording. My video started picking up a little traction. I don't have a crazy following, but I'm blessed to have the followers that I do have and the support that I have. I haven't been
Yeah.
able to post as much because my phone, as we tried to start this interview, my phone has been having very, very bad issues for the last couple months, and I can't
Yeah.
work the way I want to because my knee. So I'm saving up for a new phone. Anyone is listening, there
Okay.
will be more videos soon, I
There you
promise.
go. There you go.
But
I mean, you even gotten some brand deals.
yes, yeah, I'm
That's
blessed.
cool. That's
It's
cool.
it's a big blessing, man. I signed with NCSA, the
Mhm.
college recruiting platform, which was a big full circle moment because I used to pay them to push my film, and
Oh
now they're
wow.
paying me to push them. So that was a big deal. And then I deal with some smaller companies as well,
Yeah.
pretty much just posting to help their engagement, and then they give me either money or free services. Like
Sure.
I
Sure.
just signed a deal with this company. I won't name drop because they didn't
Mhm.
sponsor you. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
that
That's
on you.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I don't wanna give them nothing too much.
Yeah.
But there's this company that does stuff with your Apple Music. So they'll scan your
Mm.
Apple Music and what you listen to and give you suggestions on how to feel more motivated or how to feel
Oh,
more
cool.
like how to get yourself out of a rut. So I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. Those videos will be coming out soon, but that's where I just signed that deal. But it's really fun, man. I find it as like a creative space for me almost, where I
Mhm.
get to be myself and really show, like you said, the aspects of college athletics people don't see, or
Yeah.
the fun things that happen inside of my life. You know,
And from the first day I met you, you have a very warm and welcoming personality.
I appreciate that.
So it's easy for people to watch you and be like, "Oh, I like this." You form almost that relationship, even though it's through the screen. But you form that relationship of like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what's next in this guy's journey and just what's going on." And in today's day and age, there's so many aspects of that. Sometimes it's mega huge people on Twitch and YouTube or whatever, but many times it's also smaller content creators that are just doing their thing.
Right.
And yeah, you get to reflect a little on that. You get to show another layer.
It's also big nowadays for like getting to the professional athletics, like destroying, and there's a guy named Richie Murph, a bunch of guys who have their online platforms. It brings more value to you as a player because then those teams also get your exposure. So at through that's why I'm still going because it can only help me.
Yeah, of course, of course. So while we're here, let's go ahead and move on to a slightly different direction. I got my next signature segment that I'm very interested to hear what you got to say. So another question I ask all my guests is, what would you tell your past self? So let's say you had a chance to sit in front of Caden of 16, 17 years of age. That's about what, sophomore, junior year or so?
Yeah.
Um, what would you tell yourself?
Get your knee checked.
Mm, okay,
That would be the
okay,
first thing, obviously. The first, actually, no, I wouldn't tell him that because with me not getting it checked, I was able to go to Kaiser University and I learned a lot. But
mm,
I would probably tell him to just weather the storm, man. It's gonna be a long journey. Here I
yeah,
am, it's 2026 now, four
yeah,
years out of college, and it's been a journey, and I've loved every second of it. But there's been a lot of hardships.
yeah.
I just tell them weather the storm, be prepared for adversity. Adversity is your best friend, man. I had a coach tell me when adversity comes, kiss it on the mouth, keep it pushing.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you think your younger self would have believed you?
Yeah, I was very ambitious about where I wanted to be. I still
Hmm.
am, but back then it was I got to get to college. Now it's I
Yeah,
got to go pro.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I feel like me telling him we're playing college football. Like he definitely believed me. But if I told him about the social media side, he might look at me a little funny.
Okay, okay. I like that. I think sometimes in high school, sometimes can feel aimless. But
Okay, yeah.
then, there's other people like yourself that feel very driven and feel very motivated and say, hey, look, I want this and this is what I want to pursue and push. And you don't necessarily need someone to tell you the answers, but it helps to have, in this fictional situation, it would help to have that reassurance of, hey, you'll see it, keep going.
I feel like I
Um,
had that though with my great support system. My mom and dad,
mhm.
they've been there for me. Like when it comes to, oh, you want to do this? Well, you can do this. You can.
That's
Like
so important.
constantly reassuring. I
Yeah.
love them for that.
That's incredible. I mean, having adults, having family members that can be there for you and show you like, hey, you can reach any of your goals as long as you're willing to work, right? As
Yeah,
long
I'm
as you're
blessed,
willing
man.
to obtain it. Is there something when you think back to that high school time that you're proud of now that maybe you didn't see back then?
Yeah, I would say coming out of my shell to and start and joining the weightlifting team,
Hmm.
because that was my first step to really getting where I am. Uh, a lot of what I do is surrounded by exercise and wellness,
Right,
like
right.
my sport, my degree, what I enjoy listening to, what I enjoy talking about. And I feel like back then, there's a big difference between high schoolers in Chicago and high schoolers in Florida when it comes to
Sure.
the athletic scene. Guys are a lot more athletic down here. So I feel like
Mm.
it was a little intimidating to see some of these guys pick up weights and being like, "Oh my gosh, I got to be that strong." But
Yeah,
that was probably the biggest thing, man, because I just said like pretty much, all right, we got to do it. Let's go. And weathered the storm.
right,
And it
right,
pushed me to
right,
be
right.
where I am. And I made great connections with friends that I still have to this day through that team.
That's awesome. You said you only did weightlifting. Was it just your senior year?
Junior and senior.
Junior and senior. Okay, okay. But it was that moment of like, hey, let's get into it. Doesn't matter if some people look a little bigger than me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump into this and see where it goes. Okay.
Actually, sophomore, junior, and senior, because that was when Coach Crawford was there. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So you really got a chance
Yeah.
to push strong. And I mean, you said earlier you also were in track, right?
Yeah, I did track my senior year only, but that was
Okay.
because Sydney Lake, who I told you about, the girl who
Yep.
was great at weightlifting, her dad was the throwing coach on the track team, and
Mm.
I was like, you know what, let me try it, because he knew what he was talking about. So I was like, let me
Yeah.
just try it, see how good I am. Did it with a couple friends. I wasn't the greatest, was not the greatest at throwing. I was fast. I was better runner than I was anything.
Yeah.
But we had guys like Ryan Campbell and Chase who were just incredibly fast. That
Yeah.
I couldn't compete. The Varnador twins,
Hey,
guys
I
are.
mean, that's experience. It's
Oh yeah,
experience regardless. You know, it's something that you can look back at and be like, I tried that. You know,
hmm
it
I'm
wasn't
glad I tried
necessarily
it.
your thing, but you got a chance to do it for a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we're towards the tail end, I like to finish with talking about where things are heading, you know, and
Okay.
where our life is moving in that direction. You've shared a lot with me about how your future, you know, you have a lot of big dreams of pursuing the NFL and pursuing professional football in any degree of that. Um, is there anything else in that realm that you're looking at? I know obviously one of the big changes in the league format, I guess, has been that partnership with I think it's the UFL. The
Yeah.
Yeah, so the UFL for the first time and truly, I think it's been way overdue. You kind of have like a bit of a feeder system where you know you show those results there, and a lot of guys like Brandon Aubrey, for example, on the Cowboys, you get called up. Very baseball esque. I'm sure that's something you're actively working towards, right? Just saying like, hey, what's that next step of which team can I try out for? You know.
100%. We had a guy on the Orlando Pirates, Talui Tagovailoa, to his little brother, that just got called
Oh,
up to
okay.
the Houston Gamblers.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
So it's
Okay.
definitely
So
something that gets. It's like a chain system now, where it's like, oh, you're going down to AAA, you're going down to AA, and then
right,
working your
right,
way
right.
back up. I like it because it gives more opportunity. These smaller teams, like the IFL teams, even when I say smaller, I mean like smaller in the sense of like the roster is smaller. The fan bases
Oh,
are
okay.
still huge, but
Yeah.
they them having this feeder system, almost like an NBA G League, it allows guys to make money doing what they love and still have the opportunity to reach that big $1 million contract playing for these big teams we watched when we were kids. And it's
Wow.
definitely something I'm interested in. I'd
For
be
sure.
happy to play at any level, but obviously I'm gonna shoot for the stars, and then
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
miss, I'll land on a cloud.
Exactly. Great mindset. Great mentality to have. I got one last question for you, Caden. So when we were in high school or in school in general, because you know you took classes in college too,
Yeah.
growth was so often determined in a very binary sense, as far as like, are you getting A's on tests? Are you showing up to class on time? You know, very yes and no. Now that you're in a different stage of life, how do you determine growth, or how do you define growth?
Well, my dad always told me if you're green, you grow, and if you're red, you rot. I gotta, as long as I'm continuing learning and I'm not pompous or arrogant about where I am, if I feel like there, at no point in my life should I ever feel like I know everything,
Mm.
because there's always something, even if I'm a master of the subject or I understand what's going on. There's always something new to learn. I know you feel that way, like in your anatomy and physiology.
100%.
There's new things coming out every day with peptides and all
Mm-hmm.
this new stuff about fascia and how we can better preserve it. There's always something to learn, and as long as I'm willing to learn, I feel like I'm growing the way I'm supposed to.
Great answer. Yeah. It is an ever changing process, and ideally we learn for the rest of our lives. It's a bit foolish to believe that you'll know everything at all times. And it keeps you, I think it keeps your brain young. You keep
100%.
constantly pursuing new things. So Caden, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Is there any final words you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, man, keep pushing. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. I'm a living proof of it. Still pushing to this day, and I'll see you guys at the top.
I appreciate it, Caden. Thank you guys for listening to Catching Up, where conversations continue beyond the classroom. I'll see you next time.